Hey everybody, if you're tuning in today, you may have a chainsaw in which your chain is kind of seized and it will no longer slide on the bar. So we're going to troubleshoot that today and see what the right strategy is to fix it. So I've got a Husqvarna. This is a 445E. It's got an 18-inch bar, and I have to say it's a great chainsaw. I've been using it for a few years now, and I love it. It's powerful, it's lightweight, and really it's probably my fault. I think I got it kind of torqued in a tree last year while I was cutting. So that's kind of when the blade flopped off, and ever since then I've been having trouble with it. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen the bar and take this chain off. So using the tool that came with your saw, you're going to take and loosen this nut. If you did happen to lose it and you have the same model as me, you can also use a 1/2-inch socket. Now it shouldn't be too tight. You should just need a couple of turns on that wrench, and then your fingers should be able to unscrew this nut. If it's tighter, then that's actually not a good thing. You want to be able to remove that with your fingers. Now we can lift this plate off, and we can kind of loosen the bar and just take this whole thing off. So we'll set the bar aside, and now you can get your chain off. Now, once I've got my chain off, I can look at it to see if it's bent or straight, which it should be. But the thing that's jumping out to me is that all my drive links have a real rough feel along the side. There is supposed to be a tooth there, but the sides of these things are almost feels like there's metal flakes sticking out. They're real rough. And I don't think that's good. Now, if you look at your bar, those drive links are supposed to kind of slide in this narrow groove and obviously work with the motor on the chainsaw and slide around it. Heavily lubricated, of course, with bar oil, but mine's not. And so I think what happened is, when my chain fell off, I think it got all scratched up, either by the gear inside the housing or as it kind of slid along the bar as it fell off. So I could spend a whole bunch of time sanding and smoothing out each link on there, but I think that's a waste of time. I've gotten a lot of life out of this thing. I've sharpened it about, probably for 4 or 5 years. I'm going to go ahead and replace the chain and see if that solves my issue. I will put a link below after I do a little bit of shopping and try and find a good deal on a new chain for this guy. So after a bit of research, I've got my new chain has come in from Amazon. Let's take a look at what we've got. So this is a new saw chain from Up Forest. This is for an 18-inch bar. It's got a 1.3 millimeter gap, 0.325 inch, and 72 links. Again, I'm going to put all this in the description. So we're going to go ahead and put a new chain on and see if that solves our problem. Okay, let's take a look at these new chains. So it's a nice 3-pack. I'm not going to need those other 2 right now, so we'll set that aside. Let's tear into this new one. Let's see how it looks. So it's a pretty good looking chain. I don't see anything wrong with it right now, other than the fact that it's knotted up. All right, so I've gotten the new blade kind of straightened out. Let's bring the saw over here. And so what I am going to do is gently get the chain around the gear. And now we will put the bar back in. And then I will ever so gently thread the new chain. Oh, and it is going very nicely into that groove. In fact, I'm just going to slide it around, pull this thing tight at the same time. All right. So once I have that on there, trying to get it somewhat clean. Now I will put my cover plate back on and try and line up those holes. There we go. Now I am going to just put this on finger tight. And now I just want to get this blade tight. So we will adjust this screw to just kind of, once you get it finger tight, now you want to tighten this bar a little bit. So you're turning the set screw to push the bar out, and you don't want your chain totally tight, but you do want a little bit of play. I'm actually going to back off just a touch. You just don't want it to get hot. Once you got it where it's fairly snug, give it that last snugness, and you should be all set. So I've got the new chain on, and it is pretty snug. It's not too tight, so it's not going to wear the chain, but it won't come off the bar. And look at that, it is sliding so nice. I'm sure that's what was my issue. Again, I'm going to put the link to that 3-pack, which I thought was a sweet deal, in the links below. And let's start this guy up and see how it slides. All right, I hope this video has been helpful.